regardless of what you're looking to accomplish, when you move into that quadrant and you become a detective, you can kind of get any of these and all of these, because once you practice a certain process and you repeat it over again, once you understand what being a detective is and what they do and how they operate, what they say, in a meeting, very often we're compelled to talk. And I've trained 1 million people on sales and communication and advancing relationships. And I say you should always practice the 80-20 rule when you're in a meeting with people. 80% listen, 20% speak. And of that 20%, I believe, and I've kind of proved it with the results we've gotten, about $3 billion of revenue for our clients. 80% of that 20% should be asking the right question in the right way at the right time, because it's questions that advance people, that get them to give you feedback as to whether you're on the right course or not. So whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you would like to get out of your business, you can get more of it by being a detective and asking questions that move people along in the relationship and that get them closer to yes. And so that's what being a detective is all about.
Yeah.
And
Thank
so,
you, Natasha, for what you said about Mitch. Said,
What
Mitch, you're a master at the right question at the right time. And that's another reason why we're coordinating this, is because I always tell people you have to ask the right questions in the right way at the right time. My focus being on how to share the results back. And I met Mitch as somebody who just asks the right questions all the time to move people along. So I appreciate that.
and very often we're not sure what the right question is. So we don't know where to go. And part of what we're going to teach you in detective school, the other half of it, is what kind of influencer conversations can you have at every stage of your customer's experience. So whether you're marketing to attract them, qualifying them, converting them, keeping them, multiplying them, or if you have past customers, inactive customers, reactivating them at whatever stage of the process you're currently at, you can begin to ask the right questions to move people closer to the state of activation and eventually transformation. So there are 4 essentials to becoming a detective. There's a be, there's a do, there's a say, and there's a have. And the better you get at each of these, the more likely it is you're going to move people to yes. And again, we're not pushing them. Imagine the image of you're walking arm in arm with people to escort them to where they want to go. I have said for 40 years, I'm in the transportation business. You want to go somewhere, you want to get somewhere, whatever it is, I'm here to help transport you. So we just lost our slide. So become the detective, all right? What is the be? Obviously, be the detective. And as you get more comfortable in asking questions, you'll get more natural and you'll have a chance to force yourself to listen. I very rarely have seen anybody listen themselves out of a sale or a relationship, but I have seen thousands of people talk themselves out of a sale or a relationship. So that means you want to do the influencer conversations. And what kinds of conversations are they? I would explain a little more, which means, again, back to saying the right thing at the right time in the right order, and knowing how to ask a question that moves people to the next step in the relationship. And if you be, do, and say those things, you will have more confidence, competence, influence, and relevance. And remember, I believe, it's just my belief, either you're going to be relevant or irrelevant. indispensable or obsolete. It's a shame that the market has come to that, but we're inundated with marketing messages and we can only process so much. So people are aligning with relationships that can go for the long haul, that they can get value out of. Now, what's the risk of not having true influence? Well, you can figure it out for yourself. What we've observed is that when people don't act or be like a detective, they tend to bungle or muddle. All right. That is sort of the fallback position. Like if you're not really skilled at knowing what to say, when to say it, and how to say it, you can be clumsy. And people tend not to want to deal with people who are clumsy or muddling through. They want confidence. They want to know that you have the ability to help them. So you become obsolete, really, because the competition is constantly raising the bar. You tend to do random conversations. So you may have experienced this. We've all done it. I've done it until I get myself back on track. And that leads to confusion. And when you have random conversations that lead to confusion, you all know the answer to this question. What does a confused mind say? 2 letters. Right. No. That stalls the relationships, right? So one of the ways to get out of a stalled or a relationship in limbo is to do the influencer conversations, which means instead of saying the right thing at the right time, the right order, now you're maybe say the wrong thing at the wrong time, the wrong order.
And we've all seen this, we get emails all the time from, hey, you just spoke to a customer rep. Can you take time to fill out this survey? Or we need to improve our products and services. Can you answer these questions? And we're like, no, I don't have time for this. Maybe you want to answer one question, you do, it takes you to a 80-item survey. It's just the wrong way. It's randomness and creates that confusion. You want to be targeted, ask the right questions, just like the 3 we asked prior to this event. That gets people to answer. And in fact, we got about a 78% response rate to that. That's what you should be getting, is hearing from the majority of your people every time you ask a question.
And referencing what Natasha so graciously said about me, I appreciate that. One of the things that we're going to really drill you in detective school are the right questions to ask that actually move the relationship. All right. It's like you're walking arm in arm. You want to cross a series of green lights to get to the destination. If a light turns red and you go across and your customer is back at the corner, you're out of alignment. So we're going to show you a model called the 3 magic words: alignment, agreement, and commitment. And you will never, ever have to close a sale again. Just think about what it would be like to not ever have to use a closing technique or memorize 27 ways to close a sale. There's only 2 ways. And we're going to show you what those 2 ways are. Now, what's the value of having true influence? Well, you come up with your own value. You should be thinking about, how can I improve? What would it mean to me? I would certainly know that people are admired, respected, trusted more if they have true influence rather than if they have contrived influence or manufactured influence. They're also better paid, all right? Because if you are the top of your field and seen as the trusted voice of choice, you're respected as a professional. You're admired because you really care about your clients. Chances are good you're going to be at the top end of the pay spectrum, or can be if you're not there already. We're going to actually touch upon some of those things as well. You will master influencer conversations. And there are a couple of them at each phase of that customer experience. And as you'll see, we're going to give you some templates. We're going to help you with the models so that they're very simple. You can use them and not have to spend hours learning them. You will ask questions that advance relationships. You'll get people to say yes because it's in their best interest to say yes, not because you've set them up to say yes. There was actually a I think a 98 question survey that a company in the Midwest used to use. And they all of them were designed to get a yes answer, commitment and consent. Do you live in this house? Yes. Are those your kids? Yes. Is that your car out there? Yes. Dumb, ridiculous questions. In fact, the state, I think was Indiana or Illinois, outlawed it because it was so manipulative. All right. That's not this. All right. So when you have the unshakable confidence and unbeatable competence, that's a 1-2 punch that's hard to beat. And ultimately, it's going to get you more yeses than nos. So think about what could be the financial payoff. So when I work with people, I'm going to give you a real keeper that you can write down. I go through an analysis, and we're doing it with you. What's the cost? Not what we're going to tell you the cost is. What's the cost emotionally? Does it affect you emotionally to continue maybe to struggle with the way you're doing things? What's the cost mentally or psychologically? Is there stress, physical costs? All right. Maybe operational costs. Maybe your business is not operating as well it could be, or it's not producing as well it could be, And, when you get down to it, there's financial cost. Now, every person will have a different financial cost depending upon how much of this you do and how big the cost is in terms of lost time. When you think about your time, which is the most precious, irreplaceable resource, for every $100,000 you earn on average $50 an hour. All right. If you divide 100,000 by 2,000 hours, give or take, it's $50 an hour. 200,000, $100 an hour. So every hour that you're not spending advancing relationships, bungling, smuggling, and again, not to say that we all don't bungle and smuggle. I still bungle. I don't smuggle. I muddle sometimes, but I know now when I'm muddling and when I'm bungling, and I'm able to move into that other quadrant. So depending upon what could possibly be for you, you could be wasting an hour a week, 2 hours a week. Let's say 2 hours a week at $100 an hour is 200 a week. That's 10,000 a year. How many clients do you need to, save that kind of money? So all part of a decision, making a good decision that's in your best interest is assessing the cost of the problem and then assessing the value of the solution and then determining for yourself, is it in your best interest to do what you're doing or to make a change? Okay. So just for your own sake, kind of think about what the value might be if you could shortcut your qualifying, if you could advance relationships conversion, if you could go back and get more business from existing clients and referrals, if you could reactivate past customers, if you could go into a new market with the right questions that will attract new buyers, all kinds of possible payoff for you.